back on the Bluebird again today, and changing the water pump. Can you tell the subtle difference between the old one and the new one? That is a horrible gunky mess in there, so I'm very glad to be replacing it. I think this car is seriously suffering from the fact that it's probably never had a coolant change, and if you don't change the coolant you don't get the benefit of the anti-corrosion protection. So I've got a mixture of, I've got an iron block and an alloy head, so you get corrosion, you get silting of the block, which I think has probably led to the head gasket failure, and it all starts adding up. It's all the same thing. So I'm going to be installing a new water pump, still waiting for the timing belt to arrive, so there's not an awful lot I can do today, but I can start doing stuff like bolting the exhaust manifold back in place to get it a few steps closer to actually running. It's the 12th of June today, the MOT runs out today, and there are still a few things I need to sort out on this car. I don't know if I've shown you the seat belt yet, but I don't think it's going to be passing an MOT, because that's it, the buckle's broken, so he's fitted a mountaineering clip that just clips around the seatbelt to hold it into place, which makes you wonder about the previous MOT tests on this car. Not legit. This was picked up as an advisory several years ago, but the clip was broken. And it shouldn't even be an advisory, it should be a straight fail. So I think this has had some dodgy MOTs in its time, and it does worry me about what else I'm going to find once I actually get it running. Also need to sort out the number plate because it's currently on the floor, and it melted a bit when I left it in the car on a sunny day. So ideally I'd replace it, but I need to get some sort of control of the budget on this one. It's starting to turn into a very expensive cheap car. Oops. And here we are, the belt is on. That's actually a belt, brand new belt fitted. You can see the brand new water pump down there as well, and a brand new tensioner. So much expense, and we still don't know if this engine even works. So yeah, long way to go. I'm now gonna turn the engine over by hand a couple of times and see if the timing marks are all lining up as they should be. It would be very difficult for me to get this nut tightened up to the necessary torque setting. So thankfully, after a tip from a friend on the AutoShite forum, I marked the original position. So I did this pretty tight, which left my paint mark pointing down here, and then used my trusty impact gun to rattle it on until those line up. So that means that that torque setting must be pretty much about right. You can see my timing mark up here, that's at 12 o'clock, and if we jump up to the top, because I've got the cam cover off, you can see my tiny timing mark there is also at 12 o'clock. So everything is now correctly timed up, which means in theory it should now be ready to run. There's still an awful lot to do. I've got to bolt the water pump pulley back on, put all those pulley belts on. I've still got to, I haven't actually fastened that down and done the valve clearances yet, so that's still to do. Still got to bolt the inlet manifold off and fit a new thermostat to it. So I'm not quite ready to go just yet. I've now been working on this car so long that I've got a different pair of glasses. They're reacting quite nicely in the sunlight. It is a glorious day. I've just drained the oil out. It's a bit beige for my liking. I'll try not to drop my mobile in that. Just draining the oil out at the moment because I'm very close to having this engine ready to run. If you look at the progress, got the cam cover back on, inlet manifolds all back on. I think I've got the HT leads in the right place, so they're all back on. So I still haven't attached pulleys, I haven't got the water pump pulley back on yet, but I only want to see at the moment, A, whether it'll turn over cleanly, which it should do, I've been turning it over by hand, and B, whether it'll actually start and run. It's got no water in it, so I'm not going to do it for very long, but I just want some satisfaction. I'm short of satisfaction with this car, so we're going to give it a blast and see how it does. But first I'm going to chuck some oil in it. I've got some oil that Comma sent me ages ago, and it's 5W40, which is probably a bit too thin for this engine, but I don't care at the moment. I mean, effectively it's a flushing oil. I feel a bit sorry for Comma because I'm using their really rather nice oil, and it's even fully synthetic just as a flush, but them's the brakes. It's what I've got in stock at the moment. So either that or I might have some 30 somewhere. Maybe I'll give that a go. Yes, it's older than the Hills, but I have some 30 grade. It's a bit rusty on top, but I think the oil's alright. So I think I'll check that in. I might need a top up of the Comma stuff, and then I've got more oil on order, and I need to get a filter as well. But for now I'm just draining out the horrible emulsified oil, put some fresh in, and we'll give her a go. Here we go then. Ignition on. I want that light to go out, hopefully. This is a coil off test. Just try and build up oil pressure and make sure it doesn't make any horrible noises. It does make some horrible noises. Bugger. I think I need to try and find out what that is. Well, I can't feel anything turning over by hand, so let's have another go. I've had to hook Ellie up for electric juice. That sounds okay to me. I'm going to declare that a success. Let's try it with a HT leads attached. It really is the moment of truth. Oh, nervous. That doesn't sound like it's going to start. Well, we keep on trying. Bit of fuel in the carb. Ooh, that was trying to fire. The ignition timing might be way off, so maybe that's the problem now. Right, I've backed the ignition timing off of it because I reckon that was firing back. Ooh, that was close. Don't like that screeching noise. I'm going to turn that off again. That is a very peculiar noise. You'll have to excuse the lawnmower, but I'm in here again. Turns out that one was far too tight on the valve clearance, so reset it. Gonna have another go. Well, I gave up and took the inlet manifold off again, and I'm glad I did. I obviously did a really crap job of cleaning it up. There's lots of old gasket on there. It's all a bit gacky around here, so that would probably explain my whistling noise. There's bits of old gasket everywhere, so I'm going to clean that up a bit better. And oh, bing, there goes a Facebook message, and we'll see if I can't get this thing actually running. Right, inlet manifold's back on, ignition leads are back on. I've changed the order. I think they were all wrong. Well, I find that slightly hard to believe, but let's see what happens now. Nothing, because the battery's dead. There have been many moments of truth. Let's see if this one goes any better. Throttle down and back up, which sets the choke. I don't like that noise at all. My jump pack is not supplying quite enough volts for this car, I don't think. There's almost something there. There's almost something there. Come on, car. Oh, that sounds awful. Oh, I think I might have got it. I think I might have got it. Look, we've got Ellie on jump start duty. I've got oil on my face. Midgie's eating me alive. But if I turn the ignition on, look, it runs. It runs. It runs smoothly. Woohoo! It's got no coolant in it. Hooray! Turn it off. Huzzah! At last. After various cock-ups with the distributor, we appear to have got somewhere. So ignore Ellie chirtling away in the background. The dizzy cap has broken and the screw has got embedded in there, so I'm holding the distributor on with baler twine. Forget cable ties, this is far better because you can undo it and take it off again. Still got the cam belt exposed at the moment because I'm just trying things, but it actually runs. It runs! That's the best this car has ever run. I'm quite pleased. The end. Well, not quite. Let's put some water in it. There we go. How good does that sound? I can't pretend that's a good thing. There's a leak on the thermostat housing, so it's not ideal, but she runs and sounds beautiful. Hurrah! Hey, looks like it's all on fire. I don't think it is on fire, but I'm having to run water into it constantly because so much is leaking out of the thermostat over here. So I might call that a day and just say that's proof of concept. But it runs! And sadly, that's where this part ends. It's exceedingly wet today, so I'm very glad I got the car running yesterday when I had the chance, even if I did get eaten alive by midges. Look, I had a good old munch on me as I was working under the bonnet. The shade of the bonnet did not help matters. But yeah, we have a working car, and one that now has a seatbelt buckle. Thanks to Ian Marshall of the Nissan Bluebird Owners Club. He very kindly sent me a buckle. It's brown, so it doesn't really match, but given the rest of the state of the car, I mean, I don't really care if the colour doesn't match. I'm just grateful for a seatbelt that actually works. Also found the battery clamp is completely missing, and that's another MOT failure point. So yeah, the history of this car, somewhat dodgy. But we're getting closer. I can't really complain too much. Look, I've still got half a tank of fuel. These cars always show a permanent live fuel gauge. But we're getting closer. So hopefully in part 4 of Project Bluebird, you'll see me get this car on the road, MOT'd, and hopefully to an event. I'm just slightly worried I may have to replace the battery because it doesn't seem to hold charge at the moment. But still, we are making progress. The car runs. I've got some JB weld on the way, so I can hopefully repair the thermostat housing, which has 2 holes in the housing itself. That's why there's water spraying out. But anyway, enough waffle. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your supportive comments as I ineptly try and work my way around this car. And hopefully see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I'll see you again. Let's bring on a full-on